Tonight on The Story, it's a spud showdown. The humble potato. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. They're an important part of the Northwest economy.
Hundreds of thousands of acres. There's over 100 potato farmers in Oregon. It's a top producing vegetable in the state of Oregon.
But now Oregon state vegetable is at the center of a federal debate. Are they really vegetables?
Potatoes are certainly a vegetable.
Or should they be reclassified to another food group, perhaps grain?
They are grown in the ground. No grain I know of is grown in the ground.
Or do we call them something else entirely? So many questions. I'm Pat Doris. Welcome to The Story on this Friday night. Tonight we're talking taters. Did you know the potato is Oregon's state vegetable? It just got that designation last year, so congrats, potatoes. But now the federal government might be moving towards reclassifying potatoes. As soon as next year, they might be no longer considered a vegetable. Some are arguing the potatoes are not as healthy as other vegetables, but potato farmers, as you heard, and Northwest senators all disagree. Ashley Koch reports.
In your day-to-day life, how much do you think about potatoes? Cody Fazio thinks about them a little more than average.
Fourth generation farmer. My great grandfather came to Sauvie Island in 1942. We've been growing potatoes here ever since.
It's early in the potato season.
Here's a potato start. If you can see, there's a little sprout growing right there.
Seed potatoes have just gone into the ground.
Then we'll water them up and we'll harvest them in September and October.
By this time next year, these sprouts will be full-sized potatoes, headed out to your local grocery store. In that time, they might also move to a new food group. The U.S. Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee is considering changing up how we think about potatoes. Right now, they're considered vegetables. Next year, they could be part of the grain food group. The Dietary Guidelines Association gets together every 5 years to talk about how Americans eat. The committee is made up of 20 doctors and scientists from across the country. They've been working to develop nutrition guidelines for the next 5 years. Those dietary guidelines are the backbone of the country's nutrition policy. The U.S. Departments of Agriculture and Health and Human Services work together to publish the guidelines. The next ones are due in January 2025. They influence everything from school lunches to WIC policies to what kind of food gets federal research funding. Right now, white potatoes are considered starchy vegetables. But the humble spud has found itself at the center of some debate in recent years. The World Health Organization excludes it from their vegetable recommendations. Harvard's School of Public Health kept potatoes out of their vegetable category, writing, "Potatoes, unlike lettuce and carrots, can cause blood sugar to spike and raise the risk of weight gain and diabetes." And the UK's Eat Well guide lumps them in with bread, cereal, and pasta. But if you ask potato growers here in the Northwest,
it's part of the plant that you eat. It's a vegetable.
Gary Roth from the Oregon Potato Commission agrees.
Potatoes are certainly a vegetable.
And senators from the Northwest sent a letter to the USDA and HHS writing, "The scientific justification behind the assertion that potatoes are not vegetables is not strong, and there are documented nutritional benefits of potatoes." There are. A medium-sized potato has about 170 calories, 5 grams of protein, and about 3 grams of fiber.
What people don't realize is there's more potassium in a potato than a banana. There's as much protein in a potato as an egg. There's as much vitamin C in a potato as a grapefruit.
Of course, that's not the case if you're mainly eating French fries and potato chips, but potatoes are versatile. They're used in lots of cultures, and they're cheap. And potato farming is a big industry here in the Northwest.
Idaho's number 1, Washington's number 2, and depending on the year, Oregon is either 4 or 5.
Oregon's potato farmers worry that if their darling root vegetable is reclassified, it'll cause confusion for their customers.
Consumers recognize vegetables for what they are. They recognize potatoes as a vegetable, and they would be, I think, very confused if they started to look for potatoes in the bread aisle.
And they worry that potato growers could lose out on some of that federal research funding.
There's constantly investment being made in developing potatoes that can just be grown as simply as possible. And I believe that a lot of that would really go away.
But for now, they're just doing what farmers do.
I knew I wanted to farm since I was 5 years old, and I love every day of it.
Waiting. Ready to deal with whatever the season brings from their fields and the federal government. Ashley Koch, KGW News.
All right, now it's your chance to weigh in on the tater debate. Are potatoes vegetables? Can you really argue that they're grains? Give it a shot. Or should we call them something else? Would it change your eating habits if they're reclassified? I kind of worry, I think that is the worry behind all of that. Let us know, will you? The email address is thestory@kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.